There we go. Remember to turn my microphone on this time. Oh, but you know what I forgot? Earrings. Ah! Here, let me just use these. So anyway, thoughts and prayers for all of you in the path of Hurricane Laura, which is going to be pretty much everybody in the Midwest and the East Coast, because it looks like its path is going to go right up through the middle. So even though you may not get the brunt of it, as far as storm surge and that kind of stuff, there's a lot of rain heading your way. Let me get my chat window open. So didn't mean to move that. That was weird. So I can see who is here. I see Ruth and Joanne are here this morning so far. Forgot to put the other earring on. Got distracted with the chat window. Anybody on Facebook yet this morning? I'm sorry, anybody on YouTube yet this morning? Let me look over on YouTube and see what's going on over here. I got people watching on YouTube, but nobody's commenting yet, so I can't check the comment status to make sure that's working. Anyway, so that's what's been going on. Weather. So hopefully you're not in the path, are you? Also, let me see what else. Hey, Brenda, good morning. Let me see. Hired a couple of new people, so we've been onboarding new people. Got somebody that's handling all of my social media now. So that's nice to have again, because sometimes that can definitely get a little overwhelming. So that's good to have somebody else doing that. Got my nails done finally. Let me see what else. Gosh, it just seems like it's been nonstop. Oh, my webinar system was down. There was a confusion between I had paid twice, and so they accidentally canceled one of my accounts, and they were supposed to cancel the other one and refund the money, and then so that got all messed up. But that's all been straightened out as of, I think, 4 o'clock yesterday. So that was a 2-week process. In the meantime, I was a little bit sick, so I was dealing with that. Hey, Ruth. So yeah, it just seems like it's been nonstop. Of course, you're on both. Of course, we got the Style Academy launch coming up in a few weeks. So very excited about that. That in there recreating everything, and the beta testers, I'm reaching out to you today, and excited about all the possibilities and what's going on. Let me see, I talked to Sheila, and she's doing amazing things. So we'll be talking later today. Blanca's doing some editing. Podcast. I decided to start things off. I think what I'm going to do is just take strip the audio off of the Coffee with Colleen's and put those over onto a podcast. And already I've picked up 27 people who have never heard of me just for putting one podcast on iTunes. And I'm not even on the other platforms yet. We're still not negotiating. We're still kind of working through the system to get all the paperwork done to get me on Spotify and iHeart and all that kind of stuff. The most important one you really have to start with is iTunes, and from there it kind of branches out to everybody else. But just being on the one platform, not promoting it, not anything, somebody just found me, 27 people. Actually, I think it's more than that now, that just like, oh my gosh, didn't know you existed. Now I've been to your YouTube channel. Now I've seen you on Facebook, and I went to your website. And so that's exciting. So got that going on too. So what's new in your life? What's happening in your world? Let me see. Hey, Lori. Oh, your mom's in South Louisiana. Oh, golly. Yeah, that's not of Katrina, but it's definitely not going to be something to ignore either. But yeah, crazy weather, crazy things. And then, of course, we're getting back into cold and flu season, so that's going to bring up a lot of issues. And I was sick. Everybody knows that I was sick. I think I just kind of overextended myself, which I tend to do. I get excited about working on things, and I go crazy, and then I get myself spread too thin, and then I start beating up on myself and expecting too much of myself, and things kind of spiral. Good morning, Valerie. How are you? But my health is good, and praise God, and going to keep it that way. I think it's important to keep an eye on your immune system and build your immune system. Of course, I always make my own liposomal vitamin C. So that's happening on a regular basis. My microphone a little hot. Looks like it's popping above the, it might be hitting the upper end. Oh, yeah. And then what I did is I now use a calendar program where I'll send you the alert for the show and let you know what's coming up in the future. And you can add it to your personal calendar because you can't count on Facebook. You click the get reminders on YouTube or click the get reminders on Facebook. I do it every one of my shows. I do it for other people's shows that I want to see. I don't get reminders. Not for my show, not for other people's shows. So a friend of mine said, oh, I use this calendar app, blah, 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 blah. So that's what I've started doing. So you will have noticed that if you are getting my Facebook messages. And if you aren't, make sure you comment me below if you're watching this on Facebook. And I will put the link for you on YouTube. I think it's in there. That you just click the link and then you'll get the notifications. Or, you know what? Become a classy confidant. My confidants get to see me without makeup, with curlers in my hair and all sorts of stuff. So text me at 214-214-4995. And you too can be a classy confidant. I try not to send out more than a few text messages a week. But if I find something, or if something's going on, or if I find an interesting article, I'll send it to you, or you just kind of see me at the property at the ranch, or I do not post names or pictures of my family online because there's creepy people out there. But I will share it with my classic confidants. Oh, I was looking at the wrong time. And I over-chatted. Alrighty, so let me pull up my notes. And we'll talk about how to declutter and tidy up. All right, I'll be right back. Now is a good time to declutter your life. I don't care what's going on. And when you're watching this, it's always a good time to declutter. Because when you look around at your brain, will actually see clutter and it jiggles. And it makes it harder for you to make decisions. So today I'm going to give you 10 ways to clean up and overcome the clutter and get tidied up in this morning's Coffee with Colleen. Good morning and welcome to Coffee with Colleen. If this is your first time watching me, my name is Colleen Hammond. I am a former on-camera meteorologist for the Weather Channel, turned executive image consultant, coach, and mentor. I like to teach women how to be beautiful from the outside in, but more importantly, from the inside out. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, is beautifying the space around you so that you feel more content and at peace, and talking about tidying up. And there goes my eye again. If you watch me a lot, you'll know that this eye waters on a regular basis. So no, I am not crying. So before you can begin tidying up, you have to have some sort of vision. You want to visualize what it looks like. Well, that's easy to do. All you have to do is open any magazine, go to Pinterest, and see how somebody's beautiful little life looks framed up in their little framed up space. We only let you see on camera exactly what we want you to see. So it's the same thing when you go on Pinterest. They're idealized pictures, but that will help you visualize what you want. Do you like those little cubbies? I remember it used to be when you organized for your children, you would put things in a clear bin so you could see what was in the bin. Well, now we just don't want to see it. So now there's baskets and little enclosed spaces. So which do you prefer? Do you like the plastic bins that you can see through? How do you want your closet organized? That's going to be the next video. We're going to talk about closet organization. But this one is just tidying up and decluttering and getting rid of things, especially sentimental things, because a tidy environment is where everything has a place and everything's in its place. It's efficient, it's organized, you have access to things that you need. So you have to first understand what you want and what's important to you in your space, what's important to you with your things. So it's not really about getting cleaned and organized and tidy, because that could just mean opening up your closet and stuffing everything in your closet and shutting the door, and then, oh look, everything's neat and tidy, which you do. Like when somebody pulls into the driveway, you're like, oh my gosh, they're here, and you start stuffing things away. So it's not just, looking around and seeing a tidy, organized space. But being organized and tidy gives you that inner peace. So it improves your body, your mind, your soul. And that organized living space becomes natural to you. So when you go through your things, initially, you want to evaluate their purpose. So being logical, how useful is it? What's its purpose to you? And that if it doesn't have a purpose, a function in your life, maybe it's something that you can let go and welcome something new in its place. And that can be deeply therapeutic. So you get rid of something that's not useful and bring something into your life that is useful. I'm talking about things, people, whatever. But right now we're talking about things. So when you first start going through things, you want to organize, not first when you look at your space and look at the things. You don't want to look at it first like, do I want to throw this out? First, look at, what do I need to keep? What do I need? So what do I need to keep, right? Not look, gosh, do I need this? Should I throw this out or shouldn't I throw it out? Just go through essentials. It's the same thing when we talk about your closet. We'll go through and talk about what essential pieces. And, I have a free PDF, a free ebook that you can get from me. It's called the Top 5 Garments That You Should Have in Your Closet. I actually have 10, but this one just narrows it down to 5. So what are your key essentials in your life, in that space? And you can take it one room at a time. And God love Marie Kondo, but the Kondori method to me, it was like, does it bring you joy? Does it spark joy? Okay, there's a show called Hoarders where everything in their life sparks joy, so they keep it. Or you can be the type of person where you have no attachment to anything and you pick up something and you go, this does not spark joy for me, so I'm going to get rid of it. Well, this happens to be an envelope opener, and I use this every time I talk about this. But this is one of those, I don't like when you open an envelope and it gets all shredded and, I want to be able to go like this and open an envelope and it just, well, this one's already open, but just zip through it and there's a nice clean opening. So does this bring me joy? In and of itself, no, but it's a very useful thing. So yeah, I appreciate Marie Kondo, but the fact that she says, if it sparks joy, keep it. Then you may be a hoarder or you may get rid of everything because you have no attachment to anything. So that, it works out both ways. So think about what you want to keep based on its purpose. Does it belong in a category? And you can do this room by room by room. I have to do it small places at a time because I have a short attention span and I quickly bounce to the next thing. And then there's people who love organization and they can sit there all day and organize. That is not me. So some people, they can do it all at once. Other people like me, I have to do it 15, 20 minutes at a time. So if I'm in the kitchen, it'll be like I open one cupboard and that's all I can handle. It's just that one space. And I may get everything out and look at it and go, can't handle it, put it all back. So it has to be a short amount of time. So analyzing things initially. Picture your detoxed space is a way that I can keep going and just kind of picture what it's going to look like when I get to the end. So, but you may have something that's not necessarily useful or it doesn't fit a category. It may be miscellaneous, and that is the common cause of clutter. You're not quite sure what to do with it, so you keep it. As opposed to, I'm not sure if I need this or not. Why don't I just get rid of it, right? And then there's the emotional attachment, the sentimental things. So that's a lot of what I want to concentrate on today. Gifts, something you inherited. Any type of emotional attachment is difficult to get rid of because you feel like you're being disrespectful to the person who gave it to you, to a family legacy. But you know what? You're not required to keep everything. You're not required to keep everything you inherited. You're not required to keep all 27 bridesmaid dresses. You're not required to keep every birthday card that you've ever received. Sometimes clutter is just junk and it should be thrown out. Some things are valuable, but if you properly store them or keep them or display them, then they have a useful purpose. And so that's what I want to talk about today. 10 ways to let it go, as Elsa says. Number 1, you really have to get rid of the guilt. Ditch the guilt that either you are imposing on yourself or other people are imposing on you. Do you really love it? Does it really serve a purpose? Or do you just feel guilty if you gave it away? And are the feelings that you have with that particular item, so for example, my dad gave me this, is it associated with the person that gave it to you or with the item itself? Well, I have a lot of things from my dad that are sentimental that I keep, right? I'm not sentimental about this item just because my dad gave it to me. This is very useful, and I love this. And if I lost this one, I would get another one. And I really haven't found one that is this nice, because it's big and you can hold it in your hand. And I think it was one of those things that has supposed to have your business card supposed to go in here, and I never, But look at the feelings associated with the person, or is it a useful thing? Evaluate the item without the external guilt, because you know what? If it's a gift. What's a gift? The purpose of a gift. The gift is to bring joy and hopefully function to somebody's life. It's fulfilled its purpose. It brought you joy at the moment. The person's intent was to please you or to get something that was useful for you. If they missed the mark, it's okay to let that item go, because the moment is still there. And the purpose is in the intent, that the purpose and the intent the person had of giving it to you is still there. And now it's yours. The person gifted you this item. It's yours to decide what you want to do with it now. So if you're keeping it because you feel guilty, what you're doing is you're transferring that power back to that other person. Now that other person controls what you keep and what you don't. And does that make sense? Am I making sense here? So the person gave it to you to do with as you will. So if you choose to share it with someone else, to re-gift it to someone else, to give it to a thrift store where there's somebody that may really, really, really want that weird thing, somebody actually gave me this. Now, I kind of like this, but it doesn't have, I don't have a function for it. So right now it's holding like mechanical things that, it's supposed to be for makeup brushes, I think. So I'm using it for something different. So try that. So number 1, ditch the guilt. I spent a lot of time on number 1. Number 2, evaluate the item itself. Are you sentimental about it, the object or the giver, the memory of the person, place, time? Because again, like I just mentioned, that memory will remain even if the object is gone. So if you love the object itself, it's not junk, it's not clutter, so keep it. But if you're only keeping it because of the memory or the guilt associated with the person, you'll always have that memory. You don't need a thing to remind you of that person. If there's somebody that's important to you, they're always in your mind. Number 3, let go of the giver's expectation. So I kind of talked about this. Do you think the giver expected you to wear it, to use it, to display it? Is it practical? Does it fit? Is it the right color for you? Do you want to display it? Does it fit into your scheme? Because a gift was given to you to do as you please. And if it wasn't, then you need to look at I have the top 10 toxic people in your life and why and how to get rid of them. We can share that too. But a gift is for you. To do with as you please. Number 4. Sorry, I inhaled. Number 4, pictures. Convert it to digital. Pictures, videos, audio. I have an old cassette tape where my dad recorded every Christmas Eve. My dad would sit us down and read The Night Before Christmas. Whoa, I'm getting choked up. I forgot about this until just now. And he would read The Night Before Christmas. So I think when I was in my 20s, so quite some time ago, my dad recorded himself on a cassette player reading The Night Before Christmas to me. Hey, Colleen, this is Dad. And he goes through and he reads it. So I converted that to digital. I think I actually still have the cassette tape because I wanted the original. But I converted it to digital, so now I have it as an MP3. You can take pictures. You have toys that the children had when they were little. Maybe take pictures of it, and then you can donate the toys for some unfortunate children that can use them, but you still have the memory that's associated with the picture. Then you can go to a digital service like gophoto.com, legacybox.com, which converts videos, VHS, beta. You can make things into books. You can take those digital pictures or take pictures, scan them into digital, and then make them into books on MPix, Blurb, Shutterfly. There's all sorts of different services. And if you are a member of the Café Club, I will have a whole list of resources for you in the notes and in the bonus section. And if you're not, just comment club below and I will send you a link where you can learn more about it. Number 5, were you given a family heirloom that you just don't want? Contact your family, your other relatives. Maybe grandma's furniture can be used by somebody else. Maybe it doesn't work for you. Maybe you were given a set of dishes that you're like, oh, those were grandma's, but boy, I really don't like that. That was that 60s style and I just don't like it. So, but maybe somebody else in your family would like it. Or maybe you can save like 2 if you have 7 glasses remaining out of mom's martini set, right? You keep 2 or 3, and then you give 2 to your brother and 2 to your sister or whatever. Did that add up? Yes, it did. So then you can share it where if it's not a complete set, and if you're keeping it for investment purposes and you want it to be, 7 is not a complete set. So you can't exactly go and sell a set of 7, if you wanted to make money off of it. So contact relatives. And maybe you can pass along children's toys as well to relatives. Number 6, again, if it's an antique, you may want to donate it or sell it. Research it, sell it to a dealer. Research it before you sell it to a dealer. Go on to PBS's show, The Antique Roadshow, and see if it's worth anything, right? Number 7, repurpose and recycle. Make it into something new. Wedding dresses can be converted into christening gowns. I mean, I was married in the 80s, so I have one of those big puffy 80s wedding dresses, but it would make a lot of wonderful baby, baptismal gowns. If you have like old wedding rings or something like that, you can take those stones. If you don't like the setting, you can take the stones and have them reset into something else. Rebuilding furniture. If the furniture is breaking down, if it's an end table and it's not working, I saw this on a show where they cut the end table in half and then they mounted it on the wall and then put a mirror behind it. So the mirror made it look like it was a full table because the mirror went right down to the table, right? So that it made it look like it was twice as big as it was, but they only used half of it. So not only was it an efficient use of space, they made them into end tables on either side of the bed, that they take that one end table, cut it in half, mounted it on the wall. Now they're using it twice as much. So you can repurpose or recycle something. Number 8, keep 1 or 2 of the whole collection. Keep 1 or 2 as a keepsake. Keep the best of them, get rid of the rest. Maybe you have 2 really nice teacups and saucers out of a set of 6, and the other 4 are chipped or broken or whatever. Get rid of those, donate those, share them, whatever, give to children to play tea parties with, and then you keep the other 2 that are really, really nice as your keepsakes. And then you can mount them into shadow boxes. I have christening gowns from the 1700s, I think it was, the late 1700s of our family. And so I put those in a shadow box. So they're displayed behind glass, kind of like a museum piece, but they're kept as a keepsake. Let me see, 1 picture out of a grouping. And then again, like the christening gown that I have, that's a family legacy item that I committed to taking care of it properly so it can pass down for generations. Number 9, donate. Plenty of people have nothing, and they would cherish an item that you have that you feel like you have to keep it, but you really don't have that attachment to it because you don't like it. But if another family member doesn't want it, if it's furniture that's beyond what you can use, maybe it's a big old hunkin' piece of furniture and just doesn't fit in your house, and you feel guilty getting rid of it, nobody else in the family wants it, take a few pictures of it and donate it. A lot of times we have emotional attachments to things instead of the memory of the people. You'll always have the memory of the person. You don't need a thing that's going to tie you to that person. Now, again, my dad gave this to me. I'm not going to throw it out because number 1, it's useful. Number two, my dad gave it to me. And there's that emotional thing like, gosh, I feel like I'm throwing dad out if I give this out. No, you're not. Or they'll throw this away or give this away. You're not turning your back on a family member because you always have that memory. And you always have them in your heart. You don't need their thing. Now, again, there's going to be things that you want to keep. That's where you have to draw the line. What things do you want to keep? What things do you need to keep? Those are two different things. So donating it. And a lot of times if you give something to a friend, they would reappreciate a rehomed item. And number 10, if you live with a hoarder, this is where things need to be compromised. The best thing to do with somebody that feels that they have to keep everything, y'all got to compromise somewhere so they can have a space that is theirs to fill. And once that space is filled, they have to stop. So now you're, here, this is your place. And once that place is full, you got to stop. Right? So maybe they'll choose to, maybe you can take a couple of their more cherished items and display them in the home, or, maybe they have a room that's their legacy room, or maybe the basement is their legacy room, or the shed, because a lot of times if it really means that much to you, why is it in a box? Why is it stuffed in a box in the shed? If it truly means that much to you, you have it, you're using it in your home, or you have it on display in your home, where it is a visual reminder of the family. So if it has been boxed up someplace, I don't think you really need it, do you? How much is your emotional attachment to it if you've got it stuffed in a box someplace? So those top 10 again are: number 1, ditch the guilt. Don't let somebody else's externally force you to do it, or internally don't guilt yourself into keeping something. Number 2, evaluate the item in and of itself. If a family or person didn't give it to you, if you just found it on the street, that item itself, would you still want it? So is it the emotional attachment that's forcing you to keep it, or the guilt from another outside influence that's forcing you to keep it, or are you keeping it because you like the item and you want the item and you're going to use, display, or in some way have the function of that item? Number 3, let go of the other person's, the giver's expectations of what they expected from you, because that's manipulation. And either you manipulating yourself or them manipulating you. Number 4, convert things to digital. We have videos, we have film, we have pictures that we can scan and convert to digital and make a backup copy. That's what external hard drives are for. Make up backup copies. Number 5, contact relatives. You can regift it to them. Number 6, donate it or sell it. If it's an antique, it might be worth something. Number 7, repurpose it or recycle it. If it's not in perfect shape, or even if it is, maybe you can convert wedding gowns, wedding rings, furniture into other things. Number 8, keep 1 or 2 as keepsakes. Donate or share the rest. Number 9, donate it. And number 10, if you live with a hoarder, compromise, give them a space that is theirs to fill. Once that space is full, they're done, and maybe display a couple of their items. All right, I hope that was helpful for you and gave you some ideas of what to do. Do you have any other suggestions? Do you think a lot of this is a bunch of bull and you disagree with me? Comment below and let me know what you think. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure that you hit that subscribe button as well. All right, we'll see you next time on Coffee with Colleen. Oh, I was watering like I was crying like a baby. So that was crazy. All right, let me go back. All I could see out of the corner of my eye were all these comments going in the window, and I love when you guys make comments because it gives me stuff to talk about when I come back. All right, who's here? Who did I miss? Oh, Colette's here, and Margot's here, and Amy's here. Can you talk about how to clean your husband's side of the closet? No. I ain't going there, girl. Yeah, actually, I kind of will. I'm going to talk about closet organization. I'll probably shoot that video later today. I'm shooting a bunch of videos today, so I got a pile of different items. Matter of fact, I was trying this one on. This is not what I planned on wearing this morning. I was trying this on for another video that I'm doing. It's a little bit more casual. But I looked at the time and went, oh, time got away from me while I was trying on different shirts and blouses and tops and jackets. And because I got them all lined up for, to do clothing changes. Excuse me, between videos. And I looked and went, oh, I heard the music. The background music when it says the show starts in. And I went, oh, great. So I quick sat down. That's why I didn't even have earrings on. But yeah, that's going to be a video that I'm shooting on a closet organization. And I want to shoot a bunch of like 1-minute videos, just really short little clippy videos. So this one of the longer videos I'm going to be doing either today or tomorrow probably is going to be on closet organization. Oh, Colette said decluttering is on her plan for today, so it's a timely chat. Perfect. Perfect. It's almost like I knew and I didn't. Oh, wait a minute. Let me move this. I'm trying to move this over without it opening up all the way. Let me see. You're the same with envelopes? Oh, thank you. I feel like I'm a little OCD when it comes. I hate like ripping them open and they, it's like I want them sliced nicely across the top. I'm going to throw this one out now. Can't use that. It's so funny. I had to mail something. So I bought a box of envelopes, which is now like falling apart here because I needed one and what is in this? 40 envelopes in that box. I needed one envelope. Why can't you just go in and buy one envelope? Is there a place you can do that? You know what? You could probably do that. I probably could have just gone to the post office and bought one envelope. Of course, it would have been $5, and I think I paid $1 for 40 envelopes. So anyway, so now I'm in a position where I have all these envelopes. And I'm like, and the reason it's out is because now I'm looking at it going, can I donate this? Should I? What do I do with 39 envelopes? Well, 38 now because I just ripped one and threw it in the trash. So what am I going to do? Emma says I'm the same with envelopes. Okay, I read that one. I used her method, Marie Kondo, but more for things and not. Okay, yeah. I like her folding method. It doesn't really necessarily work because I don't have a lot of clothes. I think her method works for more, the folding thing is pretty cool. I like the concept of but she's really super geeky into organization. So she's like, pull everything out. And as soon as that happens, I shut down. It's just overwhelming to me because I don't like doing that kind of stuff. So if I see too much out and too much clutter, I just, which is the other reason I like to organize and be tidy is I don't like clutter. I don't like a lot of things. And so right now my desk is cluttered and it needs to be cleaned off because there's too much going on here. So I don't even want to come in here and work at this particular desk. I have two. I've got my laptop and then I've got the computer, the desktop. And this one's nice because it's on the Vera desk, so it stands and I can stand and work. But yeah, I don't like clutter. Amy says, very timely. We're in the midst of organizing for the coming school year. Yeah, hard to decide what curriculum to keep from year to year. Yeah, I have boxes of curriculum now that I have grandchildren. I'm like, I got my old curriculum from when you were in kindergarten 20 years ago. It's all the same stuff, right? Letters and numbers and colors are still the same they were 20 years ago. Lori says, my husband wants to downsize. I have so much to go through. Yeah, downsizing. I think it's important to do a good downsizing once a year, maybe more. Ruth says, I have a loved one who keeps sending things over to our house via my husband or children. I finally had to tell my husband for her to cease and desist, right? She's decluttering, but we have enough. Exactly, Ruth. They got to stop it. Hey, good morning, Heather. Shared. Thank you. Hey, did you like that new share button? Yeah, it didn't share exactly the way I thought it would, but that's okay. That's okay. It's something new I was trying. And you can share this video if you just click like the share from here. But I'm doing something new. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday. So I tried to implement it really quick. So there's a way that you can share from inside Facebook Messenger. So I implemented that this morning. And I'm going to do that a little bit differently because I just wanted to try it and see if it worked. And I think 16% people shared it. So that was good. So I liked that. I'm going to do a little bit differently next time. Then I have the calendar thing. That's new, where you can add it to your personal calendar so you can get a personal reminder. I really, really, really like that. I really like that. So what I've done in the calendar is you can share it to your own calendar, either Apple, Google, I mean, there's iCal, whatever. It lists all of them. Then in that, I give you like the list of the notes, everything that's below the video. So I give you the link to the Facebook video, the link to the YouTube video, then all the other pertinent links from the show and everything will be in that calendar reminder. So you can always go back to your personal calendar. Guys, gosh, what was that show Colleen did on decluttering? And you can search your calendar, your private calendar. You'll pull up the event on your calendar, and in the event notes, I've included for you all the stuff and the links and the stuff and everything. So those are like your own private. It's not the notes from the show, but it's like the links and whatnot of things that I've talked about. I am pumped about that because for me, that's really super organized. And I really, really like that. I really like that. So then it's on your calendar, and then you don't have to come to Facebook and search. You don't have to go to YouTube and search. You just search your private calendar, and boom, it pulls it right up. And then you just click on that event, and there it is. And, you know, from years ago. So I'll be doing that. I'm planning on doing that. Actually, I'll probably have my assistant do that and making up those notes for every show. So you can add it to your personal calendar, and then boom, you'll always have it. Ruth says, I want to donate, but it seems some organizations aren't accepting items at this time due to COVID. Yeah, that's true. Made it. Yay, Minette. I have to watch the replay. I love the tie-ins with Marie Kondo. I have read her first book and need to read her second and get busy. Yeah. Like I said, I like a lot of her stuff and her concepts. All of it doesn't work for me because, like I said, if it sparks joy, some people it sparks joy. Everything sparks joy. That's why they hoard, and other people are very detached and nothing sparks joy for them and they don't care and they throw things out. So I did fold some of my clothes her way and my drawers look so pretty. And using her folding method for packing suitcases works great. Great idea. Things take up so much less space and doesn't wrinkle nearly as much. Yeah. Hey, Rick, I was just thinking about you. One very huge mistake I made that I like to warn people. If you digitize, never get rid of the originals. That's right. Technology changes and standard file sizes change. Some old folders I digitized are too small for today's technology. And now I don't have to scan them again. Yeah. Yep. I think it's nice to have them to scan because originally the scanners were like 300 DPI and now we can digitize it far better. And I agree to keep. The challenge with photos is they fade. So, excuse me. Wow. I think I'm developing a cough. But yeah, if you keep them, you can rescan them at a higher digitalized DPI anyway. Heather says, pretend you're moving and give away what you wouldn't move. It reminds me, I think it was George Carlin who talked about going on vacation. When you go on vacation for a couple of weeks, you're just like, okay, what are my essential items? What do I absolutely have to live for the next 2 weeks? And you take those items, and they darn well better fit into one or two, suitcases. I went to Europe for a few weeks, and I fit everything pretty much into a carry-on. But I took a huge suitcase, and then I put my carry-on inside of it and checked it when I went over because I knew I was going to go shopping and buy things. So that when I came back, I had 2 suitcases, a carry-on and checked luggage. So I carried on the important things that I had purchased and packed my checked luggage with stuff that I didn't care if it got lost. Love the idea of taking pictures of sentimental items, says Ruth. Yep, throw away broken stuff if you're not fixing it right now. Yeah, absolutely. Lori said when my mom passes away, I'll need to go through all of her things. That's going to be extra hard. Yeah, you know what? Sometimes it's easier to go through that stuff now. I remember with my grandparents, and we did sort of the same with my mom, although now there's a family member who's kind of in charge who's saying that none of that's true. So I have to dig out for the attorneys. That's the other thing that's got me busy. Emails that my mom sent me saying, I want you to have this. So I have emails from my mom saying, I want you to have my wedding ring. I want you to have this. I want you to have that. So a lot of times it's easier while they're still alive for them to start gifting what they want you to have now. Some people think that's really cold, but I think as a parent, I would rather do that if I knew I was going to be passing away. And, hopefully you can get it when they still have their faculties too. I would want to start donating or distributing stuff like, here, I want you to have my wedding ring and you want this and I want you to have that. And then I'm there to kind of soothe the ruffled feathers between siblings, as opposed to saying, y'all work that out after I've passed away. Good luck, because that ain't going to happen. I don't know any family where it works out well. Valerie says, I go through my closet and dresser twice a year. Good for you. We've lived in this home 9 years and your husband's never gone through his. Yeah. Hey, Laura, the best way to reorganize your husband's closet is to move. Yeah. Oh, Valerie, you're one of those people that loves to organize. Come over anytime you would like, darling. I would love to have you come and organize. My best friend Barb is that way. She's like, oh, let me organize your stuff. I would love to organize your stuff. I'm like, y'all come. I'd love for you to organize my stuff too. Emma says, my mom does that. I'm the geeky organizer. She starts a project and can't handle finishing. Yep. Terry says, we downsized our home by half a year ago. I remember that. And we had 2 storage units full of stuff we couldn't fit into our new house. We're now down to 1 storage unit. Yay, progress. You're getting there. Oh, gosh. I like the personal reminder function, too. Yeah, it's really not. I like being able to, offer you different ways, because different ways are going to work for different people. Some people want a text message. Some people want a Facebook message. Some people like, you know what? I will find your show when I want it. And then they come to me like, I really need a reminder of something. But I just love that option. When my girlfriend told me that yesterday, and I'm a shiny object person. So I was working on, a quiz. I'm working on a quiz to determine your style personality. And it's very involved because it has to have all the right pictures. And then you have to program it into the quiz software. So if a person answers this, so it's weighted. So they get 1 point for this answer, 2 points. And there's 7 different style personalities. So you have to work out. So if they answer this, and this, and then, so it's a quite involved project. And I've been working on it for 2 weeks. So first you have to go find all the perfect pictures, make sure they're not copyrighted, blah, 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 right? Then you have to size them appropriately. Then they have to be digitally the right DPI, and then they have to be in RGBs, and, so there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. Then you have to write all the questions to make sure they're clear. Then, then program it into the software. So anyway, I'm at the programming part, which I'm kind of geeky, left brain math, science type person. So I like that part anyway. So I was working on that, and she said, oh, look, I just found this new thing, and that's why you can do this. And then, and you get that show tomorrow. And I went, you know what? So I dropped that shiny object. Ooh, look at this. And I quick ran and did the calendar thing. And then went back into, the Facebook Messenger apps, and then to my Classic Confidants and that kind of stuff, and made sure I'd included it over there. But I just love being able to do it to the calendar, because then you have it. And you don't have to count on Facebook. You don't have to count on YouTube. You can set your own reminder for it. Then if you miss the show, you've got the link on your... I'm just so geeked out about it. I think it's the perfect solution. And I found... And she pays for her calendar app. I found a free one. So I'm testing out the free one, seeing how it works. And if it doesn't work, then I'll just switch to a different one. I like to give those things to my children now because I live in a family member's house. So that's perfect for you, Laura. Then you can distribute it. They still have it. And okay, so here's the challenge. My mom gave me stuff, and she didn't like what I did with it, because she wanted me to put it away and keep it as a family heirloom. And I loved the glasses and wanted to use them. And I was using them, and she didn't want me to use them. So that's part of the challenge, is that when you do give something to somebody, there's your expectation of what they're going to do with it. So it works both ways. When somebody gifts something to you, they pretty much have an expectation of what they think or want you to do with it. So I have learned from when my mom had given me things, is to say, what's your expectation of what do you think I should do with this item? Because then I know right up front. Let me see. Like the Fly Lady, said Heather. I love the Fly Lady. She really got my start. I do one shelf, one drawer, etc. It's workable. Yeah. And I like how she talked about hot spots, because there's spots, like for me, it's the island. At the island, I come in the door and things go down on the island, and sometimes they don't leave the island. So, and then I have an organization where one day a week is devoted to a specific room to clean. So Mondays are kitchens, Tuesdays are bathrooms, Wednesdays are living rooms, Thursdays are bedrooms, Friday's my office, Saturday's the car. So one day a week is devoted to a specific area to deep clean. So everything, if you maintain it, and I learned that from the Fly Lady. Love her so much. Lori says, in the Pacific Northwest, we have 4 seasons, so more clothing to have out and put away per season. Yeah, that's one advantage of being in the South. We have pretty much one big season of warm weather, and then a month or so of cold weather. And so growing up in Michigan, it was just the other way around. I have mostly sweaters. So I have these beautiful, beautiful sweaters. I've got cashmere sweaters and Angora sweaters. And, remember Angora? Do you remember Angora? It used to and then and it would get in your nose. Ugh, so soft and beautiful, but it always got in my nose or in my eyes. Didn't like Angora. Let me see. I say use the stuff, or why have it? Exactly. Hotspot here, says Valerie, is the dining room table. My house in Georgia, when I lived outside of Atlanta, it was the dining room table. Because it was just my husband and I. We didn't have children at the time, so we never used the dining room table. Let me see. Amber says gifts with strings attached. Just one of my pet peeves. I know, it's manipulation and control. Back to toxic people, right? Got to get those toxic people out. I do that type of zone cleaning as well, says Valerie. I love it. Of course you love it, because you love organization. I do it because I have to. I do. A day is devoted to each specific room or zone or, whatever. Because I know if it's on my calendar, I will do it. And my friend Barb, what's so funny about my friend Barb? Her and I laugh about this all the time. Barb is super organized, right? So you open her cupboards and everything has got a certain place and that type of thing. But one of my I have 2 pet peeves in the kitchen. One is cupboard doors that are open. 2, chairs that have not been pushed in. Those are 2 of my pet peeves. So when I'm over at Barb's house, I've never noticed the chairs. I think she pushes chairs in all the time too, but I always taught my children, when you got up from the table, you stand up, you push your chair in, then you pick up your plate, rinse and load. So for me, it was chair, rinse and load. Chair, rinse and load. So my children grew up with chair, rinse and load. Chair, rinse and load. So we have our big family dinners on Tuesdays now. Well, actually, we have to change it because my son's school schedule changed. So now he has a class on Tuesday nights, and it's senior project. He can't miss that one. But, we're doing family dinners on Tuesday nights. It's going to switch probably Wednesday night. So last night was our big family dinner. And children are getting up and I'm like, chair, push in the chair. Nothing's changed since you were little, A couple of them still push in their chairs. A couple of them don't. They just kind of stand up and walk away. So those are my 2 things. So anyway, I go over to my friend Barb's house and she's super duper organized. But when she's working in the kitchen, she gets something out of the cupboard and she leaves the cupboard door open. So we'll be standing there talking and I didn't realize I was doing it, but we're really good friends, right? I just go in it's like you go to their house, they come to yours. It's just home. And I remember her children were little and she would say, what do you want? What do you want for your birthday party? I want to do my birthday party at Mrs. Hammond's house because I want a pool party. And they're like, hey, can we do the birthday party at your place? Sure, why not? We're going to be there anyway. Come on out. So she would be working in the kitchen and she would leave cupboard doors open. And I would be standing there talking to her and we're just, chatting and she's cooking and I'm doing this and that. And I'm going around behind her shutting all the doors. And she's like, did you shut the cupboard door? I'm like, yeah, I guess I did. And she goes, oh, well, I leave them open because I know I'm going to go back. I'm like, to me, that's like saying, because I make my bed every morning. I'm a huge believer in making your bed. I think that once you make your bed, then it's neat, organized, tidy, and you've already got the first accomplishment of the day done before you even get out of bed. Because this is what I do. I sit up in bed. Grab the sheets, organize them. Grab the blankets, organize them. Fold everything over, get them all organized. And then I fold the little thing out and I crawl out of bed and then and fluff the pillows. Done. So I make the bed when I'm still in the bed, if that makes sense. And then I get as straight and organized because it's a big bed. Once I get out, then I have to reach across and then you got handprints and I don't like handprints on beds. I'm a little more OCD than I realize. But yeah, so I make beds when I'm in the bed. So when she's like, I'm going to go back to the cupboard, I'm like, that's like saying I'm not going to make my bed in the morning because I'm just going to get in it and sleep it again at night, So we got a real good laugh out of that one because but I was raised by left brain. My mom was extremely left brain. So she was a melancholic choleric, if you know the temperaments, and I'm a choleric sanguine. So not by nature organized, but by nurture. So my mom was very organized, so I learned to be very organized. So yeah. Let me see. My buffet is terrible, said Heather, and you hate doors open too. Guys, it's such a pet peeve of mine. Valerie says, my spice cupboard is alphabetized, raised by perfectionists. Mine is not alphabetized. My spice cupboard is organized by use. So all of the baking, so allspice, cinnamon, cardamom, all that is in one section. All the stuff that I would use for Italian cooking is in a section. All of my taco-y type Mexican food spices are in a different section. Now, there are spices like thyme. Thyme you can use across multiple zones. But I put, my thyme is with like my chicken stuff. So that's how I organize my spices. Isn't that interesting? So yours are alphabetized, like all the way through alphabetized. But yeah, I do mine according to how I cook. So, hey, Elizabeth, what's your advice for day-to-day decluttering that builds up like dishes or laundry? If it's in your hand, take care of it. If you touch it once, that was the most important advice that was ever given to me early on. Touch it once. So once you're like, when I come in the house and I have a handful of things and they get flopped on the island in the kitchen, I try not to do that. I try to say, okay, I have my mail in my hand. What do I need to do with the mail? Take care of it right away. So touch things once. That was the best advice that was ever given to me. Loretta says, the chair. How have you been, Loretta? I was thinking about you a couple days ago. Speaking of spices and sugar and sweet and everything nice, Rick says, my dad's hot spot was the kitchen table. Now I struggle with myself to keep from doing the same thing because I like to have a place to eat. Yeah, I love having I love sit-down meals. When the children were growing up, we tried to do, of course I homeschooled, but I really aimed for all three meals to be a sit-down meal together as a family. Of course, Dennis was at work, so we had breakfast and lunch. He was not there, but the children and I always sat down together for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And there were always family meals. And to this day, we sit and we talk after a meal at the kitchen table. We just sit and talk. So there's no TV in the background. I like to have music, soft music in the background. I like to have the music and the meal together. I like candles for special occasions for meals and that type of thing. But to me, it's really important to have a nice sit-down meal. Not sitting on the sofa, watching TV and eating, that type of thing. So my daughter is actually teaching her children. So she has, my grandson is 20 months old, I think. And she is teaching him to stay in his seat until everyone is finished. So we go around the table. Is May's done? Is Papa's done? Ooh, Dada is not done. So we need to wait for Dada to be done. Then so we go around the whole table and he has to wait until everyone is finished eating before he can leave the table. I'm just so proud of her. She's taken parenthood very seriously, very seriously. Amy says that's how she makes her bed. It's how your mom taught you. I thought I was so original, but I just find it so much easier. You're in bed, just go ahead and take care of it. Well, you're right there. It's easier. Everything's all like, you just line everything all up. You fold it over and you're done. And then you get out of bed and you look and it looks so wonderful. The room looks tidy. Everything looks better when your bed's made. My Valerie says her husband organized by meat. See, isn't that interesting? We all organize just a little bit differently, but it makes sense to us. And that's the challenge of marriage. It's like, I'm going to take your alphabetizing and your meat organization, and somehow we have to compromise and come in the middle. Manette says her spices are alphabetized as well. Oh my gosh. I mean, it makes sense. I just like my way better. Oh, that's funny. Valerie says baking spices are in a separate section of your Hoosier cupboard. Oh, okay. There you go. Amy says all my cupboards and pantry are organized by how they're used, separated by savory or sweet. Canning things, they're also separated out. Yeah, see? So, it could be done by function. It could be done alphabetically or a combination. Like Valerie says, hers is kind of a combination, because it's all, organized out in a different way. So anyway, this is so fun. I love chatting with you guys. We got a bigger group this morning too. I thought it would be a lot smaller because we're getting closer to school. So I'm glad that we have a good group with us this morning. It's fun to do these shows. It's fun to get together once a week for hopefully a short amount of time. A few regulars are missing this morning. And I'm so used to doing the show at 9 a.m. Eastern, which is 8 a.m. my time. I keep meaning to bump it up to 9:30 Eastern, because we do seem to get a big influx of people to come in at 9:30 Eastern. So hopefully next week I'll remember. You know what? I'll jot myself a note right now. Next week's show, 9:30. CWC. There. Now I've written it. Now I'm putting those envelopes to good use. They are now. Isn't that what you use envelopes for? Is to take notes? Isn't that what you use envelopes for anyway? So now I have all these empty envelopes, 38 of them left. Now I can use them as notes. But then my notes aren't organized. That's why I have a spiral folder, and I keep a spiral folder of notes. And then in the morning I put the date, and then I go through, and those are my notes for the day. So it's always jotted down, jotted down, jotted down. At the end of the day, I can go back, look over my notes, what was done, what wasn't done, what are my things. So envelopes and little scrap pieces of paper. That's why Post-it notes. I have Post-it notes. But, and I'll use them as a reminder, like flop them up, but then they fall down, they get lost, that kind of stuff. That's why I like my spiral notebook, because I have a running dated inventory of what's going on. Stay safe. Laura's whipping here. Oh, and any prayer requests as well. Throw in any prayer requests so we can pray for each other as family. Manette says, one thing I have learned recently, share what works for you, because you never know what will work for someone else, but not everyone works for, not everything works for everyone. And I try to, and you have to try things till you find what works for you. Absolutely. And that's where I get the best ideas. That's why I'm really glad to have friends that are also in business and moms. And I have a friend of mine who's a grandmother, and her and I were chatting the other day about the glories of being a grandmother, but her grandchildren are a lot older. So she is at the point where she does a lot of things with her grandchildren as they're in high school and graduating, going off to college, and college-age grandchildren. I'm like, whoa. But yeah, and so my oldest grandchild isn't even 2 yet, and I'm pushing 60. So I got to stay healthy so I can be with them for a very long time. So Laura says she makes notes on envelopes too. I try not to, and I'm actually looking, I really try not to. I try to carry my spiral notebook around with me all the time. And I made notes for a class that I'm going to be teaching. And I know I did it on an envelope somewhere, and I can't find the bloody envelope. It's driving me crazy. Valerie says, please pray for a friend whose mom is in the hospital with congestive heart failure. Ooh, that was my heart attack a number of years ago, was congestive heart failure. It was low potassium. They did my potassium levels like, you have no potassium. They were pumping me full of potassium when I was in the hospital. They had me on IV potassium for like 2 days. So my potassium level was really low. And you know what eats potassium? Eats potassium is stress. So you have to have that potassium. So as opposed to putting me on a potassium pill, my doctor said start using new salt or no salt. There's 2 different products. One's called new salt and the other one's called no salt. But guess what it is? Potassium. So I just, actually what I do is I pour it into my hand. I know exactly how much a teaspoon is. I just pour a teaspoon in my hand, down it with a bunch of water. And that's how I keep my potassium levels up. It works. Let me see. Lisa Kennedy. I didn't see her. Deb says, pray to St. Anthony. He will help you find your envelope. Of course. Holy Tony, help me find. I had a bishop tell me that. He was the bishop of... Oops. I just shut my... Let me see if I can pop it back out. There it is. My chat window. Done. Somebody make... Oh, see, somebody else made a comment and I didn't see it. So let me quick run over to Facebook. Valerie, I throw envelopes away. I fill in a 3-ring binder. Yeah, so that's... I don't know if that... So I don't have the extra... Oops, this is not showing me the whole paper. Yeah. So yeah, so that's the thing there with that one too. Where was the other comment? I saw another comment fly in. Okay. There's Lisa. Deb says prayers that you stay healthy. Thank you. So I can, yeah, I want to stay healthy for a very long time so I can be around for my grandchildren. And all y'all too, my friends. For everybody. I just want to be around for a long time. Oh, did you hear my stomach growl? Something else we were talking about the other day. When's the last time your stomach growled? I was talking to a friend of mine that I can't remember the last time my stomach growled. She eats as a matter of habit. Oh, a news thing just popped up. Category 3. Winds are currently at 115 miles per hour. I'm waiting for that eye to become a little bit more defined. And then here's my Weather Channel background coming out. I'm looking at the eye, trying to see if it's a defined eye. I was looking at comments on Facebook, and the alert popped up, and immediately went over to the whatever channel this is, the Weather Channel or whatever. And so I'm looking down, and there's like Rita commented, Bryce commented, Sarah commented, Luann. It's the Weather Channel. It popped up on Facebook. I'm like, the full video is up the day before the protest. What is this? What if all of a sudden I got all these political comments? Oh, no. It's from the Weather Channel. So, alrighty. And keep those ideas and suggestions coming. And I can't wait to show you more about... I was going to show you, but I didn't transfer it over to this computer. I thought I already had, but I hadn't. But some of the things I'm working on inside the Style Academy. So pretty fired up and excited about it. And as I'm going through there, I'm just kind of shaking my head. This is good stuff. This is really, really good stuff. So it's pretty... Well, it won't be in about 2 hours, Heather. You're about to get... When's the landfall on that one? You know, we're already seeing some of the bands. Of course, Marco kind of fell apart and kind of, fluffed into Texas. But this Laura is going to be doing amazing things. So anyway, health is your wealth. That's so true, Lisa. It really is. If you don't have your health, I mean, what else is there? Truly. Have a beautiful week. Thank you, Valerie. You as well. The eye is pretty. Oh, yeah. Oh, the eye is gorgeous. And especially, I said I've been in Florida, when you really see it and you look up and you see that well-defined eye, it's God created some beautiful things in nature. And although a hurricane is extremely destructive, especially the storm surge, it's just so beautiful. The same thing with thunderstorms. I love a good thunderstorm. I love lightning. Just the power of lightning. And it really, especially living in the country, I don't feel it as much in the city, but living in the country, when you can feel the thunder and it rolls and rolls and rolls over the countryside, it's just amazing. And it really makes you realize that you have absolutely no control. It's like the rush of water. Water is so powerful. You have no... And so when you really realize that as much as we try to have control over our lives, there's so little that we can truly control. And we have to learn to let go and let God, as the saying goes. Mother Nature is amazing, even in her fury, says Deb. Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's get out of here and get our day going. We can sit here and chat all day, but I know you have things to do, and I have things to do. It's a huge day for me, and tonight we're, of course, doing your special training for those of you in the Lifetime Capsule Wardrobe Program. Oh, and there goes my stomach again, still growling, but I'm doing intermittent fasting. I narrowed my window. to 6 hours instead of 8, just to see. Prayers, of course, for all those affected by the hurricane, says Ruth. Laura says, I'm a weather geek. Yep, me too. Goes back to my news and weather days at the Weather Channel. Alrighty, let's get on out of here and make it a great day and see whose life you can bless today. Make somebody else smile. I think that's always worth doing, is giving somebody else a smile today. All right, take care. God bless, and we will see you next week, if not sooner, especially if you're one of my classy confidants. I'll see you soon. All right, take care. Bye.